This case is an episode out of the 50 State series and comes from Minnesota. Now, this case is about the death of Joseph Lee Heywood. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he's known as the hero of Northfield because of his bravery that he showed during a bank heist that became pretty famous. But if you don't know who or what I'm talking about at the moment, you will by the end of this episode.
I do not. Well, let's learn something new today.
All right, let's do it. Now, Joseph Lee Heywood was born on August 12th, 1837, to Benjamin Heywood and Sally Cutler in Royalston, Massachusetts. He had 6 siblings, and they grew up in Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. When he was around 25, he joined the Army on August 21st, 1862. He was able to get into the Captain Adoniram Judson Burroughs Company, which was part of the 127th Illinois Infantry.
Could you say that again?
No. I'm surprised I did it that good. He was sent to Camp Douglas in Chicago for training and to guard Confederate prisoners from the Battle of Harper's Ferry. Now, during the time, the guards and the prisoners were treated pretty much the same when it came to the rules of not being able to go anywhere or do anything. And all of them were subject to the dirty rooms. They weren't given enough food, and there was always a lot of violence going on. So many of the guards became uncontrollable and ended up burning their rooms multiple times. Before his troop was sent to...
Did you say many of the guards became uncontrollable?
Yeah, the guards.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were being treated pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, but normally it's the other way around, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was like, wait a minute, did I hear that right?
So before his troop was sent to the front lines, just half had deserted and 11% had been discharged. He stayed and traveled to Illinois, and then when he was promoted to corporal in Memphis, he chased Generals Sterling Price and Earl Van Dorn, but they didn't actually end up fighting. He was part of the Battle of Chickasaw Bayou, where he was a skirmisher, which is where he would harass enemies, watch them, or pick them off silently. He was shot at heavily during this time by the Confederate soldiers on the bluff that was above the Valley of Death. After the withdrawal of the battle, he was taken directly to the middle of the Arkansas post-battle. His troop was then sent to rescue Admiral Porter's gunboat fleet that had been taken by surprise by the Deer Creek rebels. He was in the Battle of the Champion Hill and part of the 2 bloody attacks on Vicksburg. The place that they were ordered to go, they were soon told to withdraw from because it was pretty impossible for the men to get up the walls without a special type of equipment. And later, grenades were actually thrown at that location.
Oh.
So if they hadn't have left, a lot of men probably would have died. So
Okay, that's a good call.
Yep. Later, Joseph got sick, and he was in the hospital with 400 of his fellow troop members in Walnut Hills. The day before Vicksburg surrendered, he was sent to the Adams Army Hospital in Memphis. When he first got to the hospital, they diagnosed him with an intestinal disorder or diarrhea, which was the reason for 50% of the sickness's death during the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In August of 1863, he went over his approved leave by 17 days. And when he went back to the hospital, they marked him as a deserter.
Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah. He was sent to the City U.S. Army Hospital in October of 1863 and was diagnosed with chronic diarrhea, and he had to return to the troop.
He's having a rough go, man.
They're like, oh, you're pretty sick. All right, just go back. On November 30th.
This poor dude's having a rough time, man.
Yeah, unfortunately. On November 30th, 1863, they marked him as a straggler. December 4th, he was at the Adams U.S. Army General Hospital in Memphis again, where they marked him as a person that was recovering from a sickness. 3 months later, he was released to be able to go back to the Army. On March 19th, 1984, he was at the Cumberland U.S. Army General Hospital, where he was told he had chronic bronchitis.
Jeez Louise.
He can't catch a break. About 12 days later, he was able to go back to his troop again, and he was given the title Attendant at Large, which means he was helping the nurses and doctors with things that they needed.
Well, shit, he should know everything he needs to know about medical by now.
Yeah. Now, after he was in the hospital for a month and a half, he was told he had a anasarca. Sorry, hopefully I said that right, which is a severe case of edema linked to kidney or liver failure, which could have caused him to die.
I'm starting to think he's invincible.
Yeah, he's a strong dude, man. Strong man.
He's been through the ringer already.
Now, after finding out his condition, he was discharged, but was at the Cumberland U.S. Army General Hospital again only 6 months later, where he was then sent back into the Army. The surgeon of the hospital did write 3 letters explaining that Joseph was sick, but it's not really known if it was because he needed to be hospitalized at the time or if it was because they didn't want to lose him because he was such a good worker. On May 27th, 1865, he was officially discharged from the Army. He then decided to spend some time in Illinois with his brother. He then moved to Minnesota, staying at Faribault and Minneapolis before settling down in Northfield in 1867. There, he married Martha Ann Buffman in 1869. On April 25th, their daughter was born. Now, Martha actually passed away at the age of 34 on May 3rd, 1872. Yeah, she was young.
Even when he thinks he can, settle down and start life, tragedy's still following this guy. Was he cursed or something?
I don't know. I mean, he had a pretty hard life. He would end up marrying his late wife's best friend, Lizzie Adams, which was said to be one of his wife's last wishes because she wanted their daughter to have a good mother figure in her life.
Well, that's different. Yeah, that's different.
In 1872, he took a job working at the Bank of Northfield and stayed when the First National Bank took over ownership in 1873. Now, this next part of the case comes from Cole Younger himself.
Ooh, Cole Younger.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Younger Gang.
Yeah, from his book, The Story of Cole Younger.
Love the Younger Gang.
And in the book, he explains what happened on September 7th, 1867 at the First National Bank of Northfield.
Okay. Not that you didn't already have my attention, but you really caught my attention now.
The outlaws were talking about the raid on the 6th, where Cole said that he asked the men not to shoot anybody during the robbery. One of the guys asked, quote, "What if they start shooting at us?" Bob Younger basically said that if Cole was so worried about someone being shot, maybe, quote, "Suppose we let him stay outside and take his chances."
Oh, basically don't be a bitch.
Right.
I don't know what time you think you're living in, but this is the Wild West, sir. Yep. You either go in or you don't. Up to you. I'm going to guess your chances were much better inside than they were outside.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I don't know. It was just a guess.
After the plan changed because originally Cole was supposed to go inside the bank, but now he wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your chances were better outside the bank. Cole may have made a wise choice there.
Now, Bob, Charlie Pitts, and Howard, which was Jesse James, were the first group to leave. Then Cole and Miller were going to go and stand guard outside the bank while the rest of the men stayed at the bridge and waited for a signal, which would be a gunshot if they needed help at the bank.
Okay.
When the first 3 had reached the bridge, they had consumed a quart of whiskey. Oh. And that was the start of everything going wrong.
I mean, let's just get drunk in the middle of the heist. That's cool. Let's go.
According to Cole, everything just went.
I could see why that may have caused a problem.
Yeah.
That's that old liquid courage kicking in.
It is. I can do anything.
Probably not the time you need it.
Yeah, no. You probably need to be pretty sober whenever you're doing it.
I mean, I guess you would need it nerves-wise if you were worried, but success-wise, not so much.
Yeah, maybe just take a couple shots. Just get the edge off. You know?
Yeah, no, let's not drink the whole thing.
No.
Let's just pace ourselves slightly on that. Wild West, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So when Cole and Miller got to the bridge, The first group went in the bank, which they were actually supposed to wait on the other group to get to the bank first.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Jumped the gun a little.
Just did. When they got there, Cole told Miller to shut the bank door because the first group forgot to close it. Cole and Miller tried to act normal, but when someone tried to go into the bank, Miller told him to leave. So that guy shouted, quote, "Get your guns, boys. They're robbing the bank."
Oh, God.
Yep. Whistleblower. So a man named Dr. H.M. Wheeler started yelling that the bank was being robbed. So Cole told him to get inside, then shot off a gunshot to signal to the last of the men that they needed help. Now, hopefully I say this. Oleus Stacy shot Miller. Now, this might get a little confusing. So, hitting him in the face with birdshot. A man named Manning shot and killed Pitt's horse.
Man named Manning. Sorry.
Then he shot and hit Cole in the thigh, and his third shot hit and killed Bill Chadwell. Dr. Wheeler ran upstairs and shot Miller, who was now laying in the street dying.
So just pure chaos.
Yeah,
it just pure pandemonium.
Yeah. Finally, the men who had been inside the bank came out, and Bob went after Manning, who had ran to Lee and Hitchcock's store. Bob didn't see that he had come up behind him, and he was shot in the elbow.
Ew, the elbow. Ah.
Yeah, that probably hurt pretty bad. Now, Bob ran and got on Miller's horse. The rest of the men thought that Miller was alive until they tried to put him up on Cole's horse. So instead, they just left him on the ground.
Okay.
After they made their escape, Cole asked Pitts what the reason was, why they took so long in the bank. And Pitts explained that they had all been drinking and that instead of going with their plan of getting the cashier and then the safe without anyone getting hurt, they jumped over the counter and pointed a gun at Joseph Lee Heywood.
Uh-oh.
The one who had the gun asked if he was a cashier, and he replied no. And the other two were asked the same question, and they also said no. The men didn't believe Heywood and said that they knew he was a cashier and told him to open the safe or they would kill him.
Now, why did they know he was the cashier and not the other two?
I'm not really sure why they just assumed.
Had they gone into the bank before and peeked it out and saw Heywood cashiering at one point? Maybe.
Huh.
That's a hole. That's a plot hole.
Heywood then tried to shut the vault after Pitts had walked in, but he was able to escape. But he did end up with a hurt arm, so I guess he shut the bolt on his arm. Again, he was told to open the safe, but he replied that it had a time lock on it, which it actually did, but at the time it wasn't activated. Which, of course, I didn't know that, and he said, we couldn't open it.
Yeah.
One of the outlaws, Howard, again, Jesse James, put a knife to Heywood's throat, threatening to cut him, and that same man shot a hole in the floor close to his head.
Why are they referring to Jesse James as Howard?
That's just what he was going by.
Or just his alias?
Yeah, at that time.
So he wanted to be two wanted men?
Yeah, I guess so. Throughout his life, he may have been more. Now, when the men were leaving the bank, Heywood got up on his feet, and Pitts, still drunk, seen him and shot him in the head.
Aw.
Yeah.
Poor Howard.
Yeah, he had a pretty rough go at it. Now, the outlaws didn't have any time to destroy the telegraph building, which they planned to do, so everyone knew pretty quickly what had happened.
Yeah.
There was an award offered for the 6 men of $1,000, but was changed to $1,000 for each man, and the bank put in $700, and the Winona and St. Peter Railroad put in $500. When the dust finally settled, Heywood was taken back to his home at 517 3rd Street West. A funeral was held on September 12th, 1876, and he was buried in the Northfield Cemetery. As people started hearing of Heywood's bravery, banks in Canada and the United States started making contributions to his family that came to $12,600, which today would be $384,812.82.
Oh, good for the community pulling together.
After his death, and to this day, Joseph Lee Heywood is considered a hero of Northfield. They named a Northfield Grand Army post after him, and his church, the United Church of Christ, had a window made to honor him. Carleton College set up the Heywood Library Fund and had a plaque installed. In 1943, one of the largest celebrations in Minnesota was founded, called the Defeat of Jesse James Days.
I just realized a minute ago I said poor Howard because I was still thinking about Jesse James using an alias. I meant to say poor Heywood.
Yeah,
not Howard.
I didn't even put that together because I was
just noticed it. I just realized that I said Howard instead of Heywood. It's so close.
Yeah.
But I meant Heywood.
Right.
But I was thinking about Howard, Jesse James.
Right.
Anyway, I just wanted to correct myself on that because I caught it.
Yeah,
anyway.
People in the comments might be like, why are you saying poor Jesse James?
Well, I mean, I understand Jesse James was an outlaw and whatnot, and I understand that he did some bad things and made some poor decisions throughout his life. Yeah. However, I like Jesse James.
I did too, yeah.
I am a fan of Jesse James's story. I mean, captivating at the very least.
Very much agree.
I mean, there's got to be something that just more than just me likes. They've made a million movies.
Yeah. They're pretty interesting fellow there.
Oh, man. Anyway, sorry.
In 1983, an award called the Joseph Lee Heywood Distinguished Service Award was created. The award is given out yearly to someone in Northfield who shows commitment to the public service. In 1995, Carleton College also made the Joseph Lee Heywood Society. The society is for people who want to make a commitment to the Carleton's future by either estate provisions or a life income gift. The organization started so the college could honor the alumni, parents, and friends whose contribute. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk.
Want to rewind that?
I need to. Whose contributions support Carleton's continued excellence. The society now has over 2,000 members.
Oh, wow.
His life and death are observed every year on September 7th at the National Cemetery.
Good for Heywood.
So that is the story of the death of Joseph Lee Heywood.
Well, you know, if you're going to die, which we are all going to die, ain't none of us getting out of here alive, at least getting that level of recognition and having done something heroic, deemed heroic, that's a pretty solid way to go, I think.
There's a lot of good stuff.
You know, especially during that day and age, people died all the time for much less.
Yeah.
So, you know, at least his death meant something and still continues to mean something like almost 100 years later. So, actually more than 100 years later. Almost 200 years later. 1837?
Yeah.
So almost 200 years later. We're like 10 years shy of.
Yeah, my brain was just like
200 years. So I mean, it's a pretty incredible.
Yeah.
To have, you know, your life mean something to that magnitude.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, you know, I hate that his life was cut short, and I hate that, you know, his life ended the way that it did. But
and he had so many problems throughout his life too.
He just was plagued and cursed. Like that guy just to survive all of that, it's terrible. Yeah, you know, and if they hadn't been drunk, things wouldn't have gone that way.
Things may not have gone that way. I mean, you know, the two men may not have died that day.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of those, like, I talk all the time about universal intervention when it comes to things like that, and how everything in certain situations has to play out exactly right for it to have happened the way that it happened. And so that was one of those situations where it's like, maybe that just was his. Things played out the way they did because he was meant to be a hero in history. Like, he was meant to, you know, for all we know, if they hadn't got drunk and those two people hadn't died or whatever, he may have died a week later falling off a horse, and his name wouldn't have been anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so everything happens for a reason, and this is one of those cases where maybe it illustrates that.
Agreed.
Who knows? What do you guys think? You guys think things happen for a reason and everything is universal? I definitely appreciate the case.